"Your daughter is not invited to my birthday," my mother said during family dinner. My 12-year-old daughter just sat there frozen. Everyone else acted like it was normal, so I did not go either. Instead, I sent my mother a gift. When she opened it, she went pale. My father whispered, "What did you do?" The thing about family dinners is, they're never just dinners. They are auditions. They are negotiations. They're a group project where one person does all the work. 3 people take credit, and someone always spills something that stains forever. We were at my parents' house 3 days before Margaret's 65th birthday celebration. The big one. The one that comes with dramatic phrases like milestone and celebration of life. The dining table looked like it had been staged by a magazine for people who had never met children. Candles, cloth napkins, a centerpiece that was clearly not made for a real family gathering. Margaret sat at the head of the table, like a queen who had been told her kingdom was cozy. Richard hovered nearby, with the energy of a man trying to keep peace by becoming wallpaper. Across from us sat my sister, Betrayal Voss. She looked like she belonged there more than the furniture did. Her husband Preston sat beside her, smiling politely, the way someone smiles when trapped in a conversation about wallpaper. Their children were spread around the table, like they had never heard the word posture. Honestly, good for them. Grayson, the oldest, was 13. He already had that teenage talent, looking bored and insulted at the same time. Scarlett was 9, bright-eyed and always listening. Maddox was 5, doing the quiet chaos adults underestimate until something important goes missing. My husband Logan sat beside me, calm as always. Logan believes there is a peaceful way through most situations. He believes in deep breaths and gentle communication. I believe in evidence. Margaret was talking about the party. Of course she was. "The venue is perfect," she said. She leaned back, like experts had chosen it. "The cake will be elegant," she added. None of that childish nonsense. Betrayal laughed and said, "Mom, it is your birthday. You can have whatever you want." I chewed my food and tried to stay neutral. Neutral is a skill I learned early. Neutral is like sitting on a chair with one broken leg, while pretending you are comfortable. Ember, my daughter, sat across from me. 12 years old. Soft-hearted. Observant. The kind of child who notices when adults are pretending. She had been quiet all dinner, picking at her food the way children do, when they are hungry but unsure if joy is allowed. Then Margaret mentioned decorations and dress code, and Ember finally perked up. She leaned forward just a little and asked, "What should I wear?" It was innocent. Sweet, even. The kind of question that says, "I want to belong. I want to show up correctly. Tell me the rules." I smiled at her. "Something you feel good in," I said. "We will figure it out." Margaret did not even look at Ember. She took a sip of water, like she was preparing to say something small and pleasant. Then she said, in the same tone someone uses to mention laundry detergent, "Oh, your daughter is not invited to my birthday." The words sat on the table with us. Ember's face changed so quickly, it was like watching a light go out. Frozen was the right word. Not crying, not angry, just stop. Everyone else kept moving like nothing had happened. Forks scraped plates. Betrayal glanced at her own children, like she was mentally placing them in birthday photos. Richard cleared his throat and said nothing that mattered. Logan's hand tightened slightly around his fork. I blinked once, very slowly, like maybe I had misheard. "What do you mean?" I asked. My voice sounded too calm, which is always a warning sign. Margaret smiled. Not a real smile. The kind that belongs on a greeting card. "I just thought it should be adults only," she said. "It is my special day. She will not fit in." Ember stared at her plate. She did not speak. She did not move. "Adults only," I repeated. Then I looked across the table. "So Betrayal's children are not coming either." Margaret waved one hand, like I was being silly. Oh no, we had to make an exception for them. Brielle's eyebrows lifted in a way that said, yes, obviously. Why? I asked. Margaret tilted her head. You will understand. They are different. Different. The word people use when they do not want to say favored out loud. So, the rule is adults only, I said carefully. But there are exceptions. Margaret nodded, satisfied, like she had solved a complicated math problem. And Ember is not an exception, I said. Margaret sighed. Victoria, do not make this a thing. A thing. Right. Ember stared down at her plate, as if staring hard enough could change the conversation. I looked around the table. Richard avoided my eyes. Preston stared at his water, like it held the meaning of life. Logan stayed quiet, because Logan does not challenge my parents in front of my parents. He is many things, but he is not careless. Brielle said, It is just a party, Victoria. Just a party. Ember was sitting there silently. She did not argue. She did the saddest thing children do. She accepted it. I felt something inside me go cold. I set my fork down gently. We are leaving, I said. Margaret's head snapped up. Excuse me, I am not sitting here, pretending this is normal, I said. My voice was still calm. Calm is not always kind. If my daughter is not welcome, neither are we. Margaret rolled her eyes like a teenager. You are being dramatic. Richard finally spoke, quiet and useless. Victoria. Logan stood with me, silent and loyal. That mattered. Ember pushed her chair back, moving like someone had given her permission to breathe. I did not wait for approval. I did not argue. I did not deliver a speech. I gathered my daughter and walked out. Behind us, Margaret muttered something that landed like a familiar slap. Drama queen, as always. In the car, the silence had weight. Logan started the engine, hands steady on the wheel. Logan did not look at me like I was wrong. He did not look at me like I was right. He looked at the road, like the road was the only safe thing. Ember stared out the window. Halfway home, Logan finally spoke softly. The way someone speaks when trying to keep a bridge from collapsing. Maybe she really is doing adults only, he said. Maybe it is just a rule. I laughed once, short and humorless. It is not a rule if it only applies to us, I said. There were exceptions for them. Not for our child. Logan exhaled. He understood. He always does, eventually. Then Ember's voice came from the back seat, small and careful. Does Grandma love my cousins more than me? There are questions you can answer. There are questions you want to answer. Then there are questions that make you grip the steering wheel of your life and realize you are responsible for what happens next. I turned slightly in my seat, just enough to see her face. Ember was doing that brave child thing again, trying to hold herself together because she did not want to make anything worse. My chest hurt. I wanted to tell her that Grandma loved everyone equally. I wanted to say it was a misunderstanding. I wanted to say none of it mattered, but I could not lie to my child's face, not about something she already knew in her bones. So I said the only honest thing I could say without breaking her. I love you, I told her, and I am not going to let anyone make you feel like you do not belong. Ember nodded, like she had been waiting for that exact sentence. When we got home, I tucked her into bed earlier than usual. Not because she was tired, but because the day had taken something from her. Then I sat in my kitchen, staring at nothing, while anger gathered itself into something sharper. Margaret's birthday was in 3 days. I was not going, but I was not ignoring it either. Instead, I would send her a gift. When Margaret opened the gift, she would go pale, and Richard would whisper, "What did you do?" People love saying, "That is just how she is," about mothers like mine. They say it with a shrug, like a personality flaw is a law of nature, like favoritism is weather. But I grew up in that house. I know the difference between a storm and someone choosing exactly who gets wet. Brielle is 2 years younger than me. 2 years. That is the gap between I can pour my own cereal, and I will still pour the cereal while complaining. But in our family, those 2 years became a full generation whenever it helped Margaret. When I was 9, Brielle was 7, so she was just a baby. When I was 13, Brielle was 11, so she was too sensitive. When I was 16, Brielle was 14, so I should not be hard on her. And when I became an adult, it meant I could handle it. There was always a rule in my childhood. Rules were Margaret's favorite tool. They looked fair from the outside. They sounded reasonable. They gave her the comfort of being right. The only problem was, rules were mostly for me. One of the clearest examples happened at Brielle's 8th birthday party. Margaret had taped a hand-lettered sign by the living room doorway. Nothing fancy. Just authoritative enough to end arguments. Party games for children up to 10, it said. I had turned 10 barely 2 months earlier. 2 months. I was still a child. I still wanted to play. Before the first game started, Margaret pulled me aside. Her voice was gentle, like it was for my own good. "You are too old to participate," she said. "You will not fit in." I blinked. "Mom, I just turned 10. Margaret smiled. "Rules are rules." Then she handed me a stack of paper plates. "You can help. Not later. Not for 5 minutes. Help, Dido." So I worked the party. Balloons. Drinks. Wiping spills. While the other children played. Then I saw Mark and Tessa in the game circle. Mark was 11. Tessa was 10 and a half, already taller than most of the boys. They were the children of one of Margaret's friends. Invited. Included. Laughing like the sign did not apply to them. I stared at the sign, then at them, trying to understand what I had missed. I leaned toward Margaret and whispered, "Are they not older than the age limit?" She did not hesitate. "Oh, they are a special case." Special case. Of course. I watched them play, watched them be included, and learned something small and sharp. Rules were rules, until Margaret decided they were not. That pattern did not stop with birthday parties. It moved with us. When I had a school award, Margaret sighed and said, "We cannot all go. It is too much. Do not make a big deal." But when Brielle had a similar event, schedules opened like magic. Suddenly there were photos, special dinners, relatives invited. I learned to celebrate quietly. I learned to keep excitement inside my own skin. I learned to look grateful for scraps. By the time I became a mother, I told myself I was over it. Then Brielle had children, and I realized the whole system had simply found new players. Brielle and Preston had 3 children, Grayson, Scarlett, and Maddox. Logan and I had 1, Ember. Ember is bright, funny, and kind in a way that makes you want to be better around her. She also feels things deeply, even when she tries not to show it. At family gatherings, the cousins were treated like a set. The default, grandchildren. The ones who belonged. Grayson, Scarlett, and Maddox got movie nights, outings, and sleepovers. Sometimes Ember was included. Sometimes. And when she was, it felt like she was visiting someone else's world. Ember felt like a guest in her own family. If I asked why she was not invited, Margaret would say, "They are siblings. Of course they do things together." As if Ember being a cousin made her less connected. As if my daughter being my daughter made her optional. Ember never complained outright. She pretended she did not care. I did not pretend. I watched her come home quieter. I watched her hesitate before asking if she was invited. I watched her learn to expect less. Then came the money. At some point, Richard and Margaret started needing help. It began the usual way. 1 bill. 1 repair. 1 tight month. Margaret framed it like fairness. "Both of you contribute equally," she said. meaning Braille in me. It is only right. So I agreed, because I had been trained to be reasonable. Then the exception appeared, right on schedule. Brielle could not do equal, because she had 3 children. Money was tight. Life was hard. Margaret said it like gravity. And me, I had 1 child, which apparently meant I had extra. Without anyone ever naming it, the numbers shifted. Brielle's share shrank. Mine grew. Eventually, I was covering most of it. Then my parents' mortgage became a problem. Margaret swore it was temporary, just until they got back on their feet, so I agreed to help with monthly mortgage support. That temporary help lasted 5 years. And when Margaret's 65th birthday celebration approached, they opened a birthday expense account. Communal. Fair. Paying. Practical. Most of the money in it was mine. Brielle and Margaret planned everything. Picked everything. Booked everything. They used the card linked to that account, like it simply existed for them. Like my role was funding, not family. I kept telling myself it was not worth a fight. Then Ember asked what she should wear, and Margaret told her she was not invited. That was when I stopped making excuses. That was when I decided the pattern ended here. The morning after family dinner, I woke with a strange feeling. Peace. Not the gentle kind. Not the soft kind. The kind that comes when you finally decide something, and the endless arguing in your head stops. Logan was making coffee. He glanced at me the way he always does, when he knows something is coming. I said it simply. We are not going. He paused. Not going where? Margaret's birthday, I said. None of us. Logan did not argue. Not immediately. He set the mug down slowly, like it might crack the counter. Are you sure? He asked. It is her 65th birthday. I nodded. If Ember is not welcome, neither are we. Ember came in, rubbing her eyes, hair a mess, still wearing yesterday's sadness in the way she moved. I told her, we are not going. Her shoulders dropped like she had been holding her breath for a full day. Oh, she said quietly, then smaller. Okay. Relief looks different on children. It does not always look like happiness. Sometimes it looks like a body finally unclenching. I watched her and felt my resolve harden. Then I opened my banking app. I did not cry. I did not rant. I did not write imaginary speeches. I acted. First, the standing order labeled monthly mortgage support, $950. Cancelled. Second, monthly family support, $300. Cancelled. Third, utility assistance, $120. Cancelled. Click. 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 It was almost ridiculous how easy it was. 5 years of pressure and obligation, undone in 30 seconds and a biometric scan. I stared at the screen and thought, this is why they like the arrangement. It required nothing from them, except my compliance. Then I handled the birthday expense account. There was a virtual card connected to it. Convenient. Shared. In the way everyone benefited, while I carried the responsibility. Some charges had already gone through. Deposits. Initial payments. But the big charges were still coming. The big charges always arrive right before an event, when vendors finalize totals and venues take their cut. Margaret had assumed that card would keep working. She had assumed, as always, that my role was to fund and endure. I froze the card. Blocked. Disabled. Whatever word the app wanted, the result was the same. Any attempt to charge it would fail. Then I opened the birthday expense account balance. $4,800. My contributions. $4,200. I transferred my money back to myself. Not dramatically. Not with a note. Not with a warning. Just quietly. Like taking back something that belonged to me. If my daughter was not welcome, My money was not welcome either. Then came the gift. I bought a simple box and wrapped it neatly. Nothing flashy. Nothing that screamed, "I am about to ruin your party." Inside, I placed a letter. The letter was the real gift. The kind a person remembers. I wrote it carefully, not with insults, and not in blind anger. Just truth, written plainly, like a boundary nobody could pretend they did not hear. "Mom," I wrote, "I have spent years making excuses for you. I told myself it was not favoritism. I told myself I was imagining it. I told myself staying quiet was easier. But you crossed a line you cannot uncross when you excluded my daughter from your birthday while inviting your other grandchildren. You said it sweetly, like it was nothing, like she would not understand." She understood. I watched her go still at that dinner table. I watched her try not to cry. I'm a mother first. My job is to protect my child. I will not keep bringing her into rooms where she is treated like she matters less. From today, we will not attend your birthday. We will not come to family events. We will not continue contact. Do not call me. Do not text me. Do not ask other people to carry messages. And because there will be no relationship, there will be no financial support. I am withdrawing all support effective immediately. I hope you have the life you built. Goodbye. I folded the letter once, then again, and slid it into the box like it belonged there. Now I needed it delivered. I chose the simplest method, the one that could not be conveniently forgotten. I mailed it so it would arrive on the day of the party, so it would be opened when gifts were opened, so it would land at the exact moment Margaret expected applause. Then I waited. On the day of the party, our house was strangely quiet. Logan took Ember out for ice cream, not as a reward, not as a distraction, just as a small statement. We are allowed to have a nice day. I stayed home. My phone sat on the counter like a sleeping animal. I did not have to wait long. The first call came mid-afternoon. Margaret's name lit up my screen. I let it ring twice before answering, because I am still me. "Hello," I said. Her voice exploded through the speaker. "How dare you? How dare you do this to me on my birthday?" I did not respond. Silence is powerful when someone expects you to scramble. Then she said louder, like volume could turn reality into her preferred story. "I opened your present," she hissed. "In front of everyone." Of course she did. She had probably smiled, held it up, and made a little speech. Her daughter could not come, but still loved her. She had expected something sentimental, something that made her look cherished. Instead, she got my letter. In the background, I heard voices. Guests. Movement. Clink of glass. Then Richard's voice, quieter and close to the phone. "What did you do?" It was not directed at me. It was directed at her. Margaret continued, outraged and breathless. "You embarrassed me," she shouted. "You humiliated me in front of my guests." I did not read it out loud, I said calmly. She made a sound that could have been a gasp or a growl. Then, something shifted. Her fury tangled with panic. "And what is this nonsense about money?" she snapped. "Vendors are calling. The card is not working. The account is empty. What have you done?" I leaned against the counter. My voice stayed steady. "I withdrew my financial support," I said. "Effective immediately." "You cannot," she said, like she was declaring a law. "We need that." I almost laughed. The audacity was so familiar. It felt like a family heirloom. "You excluded my child," I said. "You do not get access to her, and you do not get access to my wallet." Margaret sputtered. "It was adults only." "And yet Grayson, Scarlett, and Maddox are there," I said. "Interesting rule." She tried to talk over me. "They are different. They are family." My jaw tightened. "Ember is family," I said. Or she was supposed to be. Richard's voice came again, low and urgent. Victoria. I could picture him behind her, trying to calm her down, trying to make the moment disappear. A man who spent his whole life managing her moods and calling it peace. Margaret sharpened her voice. So that is it. You are cutting us off. You are abandoning your own mother. I breathed in slowly. I am protecting my child, I said. You are selfish, she spat. This is my boundary, I said. Do not call me again. Then I ended the call. The silence afterward felt unreal, but for the first time in a long time, it did not feel like loneliness. It felt like space. The smear campaign began before my phone had even cooled down. By the next morning, it buzzed like it had a job. Aunts, cousins, family friends, people who had ignored me for years suddenly wanted a vote. The first few calls started the same way. What did you do? How could you do that to your mother? You only get one mom. By the third call, I stopped playing along. This is private, I said. I am not discussing it. Some people huffed and hung up. Some tried again. But she is your mother. Yes, I said. And this is still private. A few people asked differently. Not with judgment. With concern. Victoria, one cousin said quietly. What happened? So I told her the facts. Not the whole childhood. Not every year of swallowing it down. Just the facts. I have supported them financially for years, I said. They uninvited Ember from the birthday, while inviting the other grandchildren. They called it adults only. It was not adults only. There was a pause. Then she said softly, that is not okay. Hearing someone else say it felt strange. Like a simple truth, not a debate. Then the next escalation arrived in the mail. A bill. Real letterhead. Payment terms. The final venue balance. $2,360, due in 5 days. Room rental. Staffing. Bar. Deposit. Late guest. Count. And under responsible party, my name, my phone number, and my email. I stared at it for a full minute, waiting for it to become less absurd. It did not. So I called the vendor, calm, polite, and very clear. I did not sign this, I said. I did not authorize this. I am not paying this. The woman sounded tired. Your name is on the contract, she said. Then someone put it there without my consent, I replied. You need to pursue the actual organizer or signatory. There was a pause, and paperwork shifted in the background. I will make a note, she said. Please do, I answered. And please remove my contact information from this account. When I ended the call, I felt a grim satisfaction. Not joy. Not victory. Just the feeling of finally refusing to carry someone else's choices. That afternoon, the knocking started. Not a polite tap. Pounding. Logan looked at me from the kitchen, eyebrows raised. Ember was doing homework at the table. She froze at the sound, the same way she froze at dinner. I hated that immediately. Go to your room, I told her gently. Put your headphones on. She hesitated. Is it Grandma? I did not lie. Yes, I said. But you are safe. She nodded and disappeared down the hall. Logan moved closer, quiet support in human form. I opened the door. Margaret and Richard stood in front, faces tight with outrage and desperation. Brielle stood beside them, jaw set like she had arrived to win. Preston lingered behind her, looking like a man who wanted to be anywhere else. Margaret shoved words at me. Can you at least pay for the birthday? Do you know what you did? We were already in debt. We cannot pay anything. I blinked. You are asking me to pay for a party where my daughter was not welcome. Richard tried to soften it. Victoria, just help us get through this. Margaret cut him off. You have money. You always have money. Yes, I said. I have money because I work. Because Logan works. Because we budget. I was paying your bills. Brielle stepped forward. This is unfair. We have 3 children. I looked at her. And that means what? That I finance your life because you had more children than I did. Brielle's eyes flashed. You are acting like we did something wrong. You mean besides excluding my daughter and pretending it was a rule, I said. Margaret snapped again. It was adults only. Stop pretending, I said. You do not treat me like a daughter. You do not treat Ember like a granddaughter. And you still want my money, Margaret said. Family helps family. I nodded slowly. Family does not single out a child and call it a rule. I am stepping out of the role you assigned me. The one where I pay and smile, while my child is treated like she is optional. Margaret stared at me. Over one party. It was never one party, I said. It was one party too many.